Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Summer drought of games and rain.
We got the lull going on. You guys had to have a drought again. You got some rain.
We've gotten some rain, yeah. No, it was. We've had the last couple of weeks. My grass turned green again. Crazy, right? You know, after a couple months of being quite brown. So yeah, it's crazy. You know, and it's one of those random old man thoughts that you have, and you're like, man, grass is really resilient. Like, my whole yard was brown, and then get 2 weeks of like some rain going. I had some watering that I was doing for a couple weeks. And it's like my whole lawn, the entire lawn is green. Not any of it is dead.
Yeah,
and
you've seen Augustine? I can't remember what you have.
It's a mix of stuff, dude.
Yeah.
There's some St. Augustine in there. There's some Bermuda in there. Who knows? There's some crabgrass in there.
I'm about to put down some clover in my backyard. No joke, because the dogs like just running around like they're big. Kirby's big paws will tear into the yard. So I'm gonna.
Clover's really resilient.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I'm gonna throw some of that down before we go on our vacation. Yeah. So before we go on our vacation, I'm gonna put down a bunch of soil and put that down, and then let that soak while we're gone. But you didn't come here to hear about lawn care. You came here to hang out, talk about video games, nerd stuff, gaming, geeky stuff, D&D, horror movies, random stuff. You know, that's what we do. Maybe not horror movies.
Quick opinion on She-Hulk. 5-second opinion, go.
I really like it, and the haters need to just get out of there. There was a meme of like all the stupid stuff that we've had in other Marvel movies and TV shows, like Baron Zemo dancing, and like everyone loves it. And then we have the She-Hulk infamous scene, that after credits scene, and everybody, all these people hating it. Immediately, I'm like, everyone was okay with the schlock, with the shtick, with the with having a character do something a little funny. She is so human. That's what I'd say my takeaway is. She is so human, real person trying to deal with her problems in addition to being a She-Hulk. That's my opinion on the show, and I love it.
See, what I would want you to do if you were like a really fancy video editor is right after I ask you to give your 5-second opinion, to do like a negative timer that goes like 1, 2, or like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then like negative counting. But no, that's perfect. That's perfectly fine. I don't need to add too much onto that. I think that was a really good explanation. My only thing is that I've been teaching my son this actually with eating. So we give him a new food, and we make him try everything, right? Other than spicy stuff. That's the only thing we haven't really broached yet. But he turns his head up at new things and he goes, yucky. And that's how he starts. And then if he doesn't like it, he also calls it yucky. And we've been trying to get away from that, saying, well, hey, Mom, do you like carrots? She's like, yeah. And I was like, Theodore, do you like carrots? In this case, he does. But let's say he didn't. Say, no, they're yucky. I'm like, well, Mom said that she liked them. And just because you don't like a show does not automatically make it bad. We can say that the last season, in particular the finale of Game of Thrones, is bad. It's bad. I think that the writing is bad. It falls very flat. It's bad. This show, as a fan of sitcoms, as a long-running fan of sitcoms for my entire life, She-Hulk is not a bad show. Just because you don't vibe with it does not necessarily make it a bad show. It's very easy to say I don't like something versus this show sucks. And I'm really tired of reading this show sucks. I understand the animation is not the best because it's a TV show. They're on a TV show's budget. They have come out and said they had to do more scenes with her as Jennifer because the animating was so expensive. And they're like, well, it's still bad. I'm like, I get it. You gotta let it go and just enjoy it for what it is. And that's exactly where I'm at. I'm enjoying it for what it is. I think it doesn't take itself seriously. I like the fourth wall breaks. Makes me think very like Fresh Prince, very like just some old school sitcom, and
some people said
I'm very
Deadpool,
much
and I'm
liking
like,
it.
Yeah, some people said Deadpool, and I'm like, just because you're breaking the fourth wall does not mean you're Deadpool. Like her Deadpool, like was exactly like you mentioned, Fresh Prince or other sitcom-y, like Zach from Saved by the Bell, kind of like it's cute. I like it. I've only seen the
Saved
first
by the
few
Bell
episodes.
also, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't watched today's episode. I got a buddy of mine and coworker.
I haven't either.
Yeah, a buddy of mine and coworker Ed. He wakes up and watches it. He's West Coast, but he wakes up and watches it before work. Actually, I think he watches it like shortly after it releases, and then goes back to bed.
I actually think it comes out tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? I thought it was today.
I think it's Thursdays.
Okay,
So
well,
I was about to be like worried that I had something to do after this podcast. So yeah. Anyways, before we move on to video games, I had to see where you were at. If you didn't like it, that's fine. I know our long-term listener Robert is not caring for it, and again, that's perfectly fine. But that doesn't mean it sucks. That's my biggest thing. We need to learn to separate this show is trash with I don't like it.
Sure. What do you not like about it? Like, oh, Theodore, you don't like carrots. Well, why didn't you like carrots? What do you not like about it? Not just don't like it. I agree. I will say House of the Dragon first episode. First episode, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, better.
I'm caught up on all of it, everything.
Okay. I need to watch the rest of those, but of the two of those, I was liking Lord of the Rings. Whitney's been trashing it mostly because they don't have Lord of the Rings, that is. Mostly because they don't have the rights to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. They have the rights to do the show, but not with that material, so they're using annotations and stuff. But Tolkien's estate is like consulting on it, so
Tolkien's estate also sold most of the rights to the Embracer Group, so they don't care that much. I don't like Tolkien very much. I think he's pretty boring. I think he's very is pedantic, the word where you just never stop talking. I think he's very pedantic, and so if they want to take his world and just kind of do some stuff with it, with ties to the historical lore that he has written, which he has written a lot. I think that's cool. I watched the first 2 episodes. I didn't hate it. And so I went in there, like, after having been burned by The Hobbit, ready to really not like it. Yeah. And I thought it was solid. It's solid so far. I'm still in. Same thing with House of Dragon. I went in there after being burned by the end of Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And ready to really not like it, and it is also solid. The thing that they're doing right is, unlike the first season of Game of Thrones, where they just take forever to accomplish almost nothing, there's time skipping, and
that's
I'm
what
down.
I heard. That's
go.
what I heard with it's time skipping, and like let's get some juicy stuff in there, as opposed to
they let you know immediately. They let you know immediately, like how long it's in, like within the first 2-3 minutes of the show, kind of, not as their cold open, because the theme song plays at the beginning, but kind of the cold open, if you will. They establish how long it's been since the last episode, and they've done that consistently, and they're resolving things in a timely manner. So far, I am pleased with it.
Good. Well, I'll keep watching then, because neither one of them turned me off completely.
Exactly.
So I'll keep watching. You've been playing some.
You haven't been playing much, right? Yeah.
Not a lot. I was gonna say not a lot. I'll pop over to mine. I've been just basically playing Magic the Gathering. I did a bunch of traveling recently. I'm still playing Pillars of Eternity, but I did a bunch of traveling recently. So using my Chromebook, which is basically a tablet, I've been playing Magic the Gathering and. Just enjoying that. It's chill enough. Hotel Wi-Fi. I had no Wi-Fi for 36 hours. You know this, but that was because I mentioned it. It was good, but it was also kind of weird.
It's probably a little haunting, also.
A little bit.
Like, how much stuff did I miss? How many emails have I ignored?
I just ignored
is my office on fire?
I honestly, the biggest problem that I had was like having conversations and not being able to look up something. Like we're trying to remember something and not being able to get that confirmation of what I wanted. Hotel
Yeah.
Life, I was terrible with Diablo Immortal. I kept having lag, and then I got booted once, and that was enough. I was like, nah, I'm good. Magic. It's enough of a the lag didn't really bother it because it's not actiony based, and everything's on a timer, so not bad on that. But yeah, you've been playing, got some Call of Duty in there.
Unfortunately, with the online only type stuff, which was annoying about Call of Duty as well. Although I did finally find out that if you wait long enough, you can press cancel and do offline mode for the campaign, because it was so annoying loading the game. And I was like, I'm just trying to play the one player. Like, I do not need to connect to your servers for this. This is beyond dumb, and it breaks. I'm playing it on Xbox Series. It breaks the quick resume. Also, Call of Duty does not function with quick resume at all. Even in the campaign, I had to quit the game every time and reload it, and I would forget every time. Right, I'm just used to like turning off the game and turning off the console from the game menu. But my thought process here was that I put over 100 hours into the game, but I've only ever played the multiplayer. And it's about to get retired because Modern Warfare comes out in November. We're in this lull right now. Why don't I haven't played an FPS campaign in a while, so let's do it. And it's exactly what it needed to be. It's like 5 hours long. You just go through some levels. I think it was like 7 or 8 levels that I went through, and it was a good time. It functions well. There was a nice little story, an unexpected ending even. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, I guess. Rude. But yeah, and so my favorite thing, though, out of all the playing the game and everything, my favorite thing, as soon as I finish the campaign, go to the main menu, game is like, hey, we noticed you finished the campaign. Would you like to delete the campaign and free up 36 gigabytes of space from your Xbox? And I was like, yes, I absolutely would like to free up 36 gigs of space for my Xbox. Thank you very much, game. Love it. That's awesome. Let's do more of that, ladies and gentlemen. Like, hate on Call of Duty all you want, but letting you download things in sections, deleting those things in sections, and not making that a necessary part of your launcher, because the game is freaking 200 gigs, dude.
Yeah,
it's 200 gigs at this point.
Yeah. Completely
they don't clean up their files at all. It's very frustrating. But happy to move on. Ready for Modern Warfare 2 in November. Probably will be playing it on Xbox again, because that's just now where I'm used to playing Call of Duty. And then I moved on. I didn't move on. I've killed one boss in Death's Door, which I'm playing on Switch. Isometric. I want to say it's like an isometric Zelda-like game, kind of. Like, it's got some Zelda-like combat where you swing around a sword. It's difficult. I don't know. It's like it's not like Souls-like, because you do gain souls, but you don't ever lose them. You just die.
Okay.
I think it's on Game Pass, dude. I highly recommend checking it out. I don't know if I want to continue right now. Not really because of anything wrong with the game, combat or music wise. First of all, the soundtrack, awesome. Really good.
It seems
the fighting,
like an interesting vibe. Yeah.
You basically play a fledgling, a small bird, and you are basically reapers. So you go collect souls. Like, you go tell people it's their time to die. You go wipe them out, take their souls back. That's it. And there's some story behind like why you're there and stuff. So like whenever you're in the waking world, you're vulnerable and things like that. It's good, but the only problem with it is it is a difficult game, and that does not bother me. It's the fact that there was like one spot that I'm at, and it's very early on, about to go in the first like major dungeon, and there's a dude sitting out there that I want to kill, and I'm fighting him. I die. Cool, no problem. I understand. I'm gonna die. This is one of those games where you have to learn patterns and kind of get good, right? But I died and then got sent back to this spot. It's not a huge deal. It's just like you made me walk all over again. And then so I tried to circumvent it. So I've tried to circumvent it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to skip the guy. I'm going to go inside the dungeon. Go inside the dungeon, leave the dungeon, go back and fight the guy. So I figure this time if I die, it'll make me spawn at the dungeon, right? No, it spawns me back at the way back spot. So I had to walk back again. So I fought this guy like 4 times. The last time I was extremely close to beating him. So it's one of those moments where you're so frustrated that you die. I just put the game down because I did not want to walk back again. Because every time you die and respawn, all the enemies respawn. Every time you enter a new place, enemies respawn outside. Everything it's very standard, but yeah. And so
whatever.
I can tell it's a great game. I've heard nothing but good things. It's just a matter of I'm not the best video game player, and so do I want to spend all this extra time running? But you like difficult games and you like these kinds of challenges, and again, the soundtrack's awesome, dude. So if it's still on Game Pass, I highly recommend checking it out. I'm playing it on Switch. I got it physically during one of those random it wasn't limited run, but it's another company that does physical editions of indie games.
Gotcha.
And I bought it on a whim and waited for it to come in, and so I'm playing it on Switch. Yeah. But you could also just as easily pull out your Kishi and play it on your phone if you wanted to play it mobile. I was playing, I think it feels good in handheld. Which I played a little COD in handheld also, by the way. Nice. Very nice. Yeah. I want my Steam Deck now. I should not have turned down that pre-order. I'm feeling very jealous that Robert's number got called. The Steam Deck's coming in. I want it now. I looked. If I was to do it, it would be next year, I think.
I know 2 people who have them, and both of them love them. I've seen only good reviews. It's solid from what I'm hearing. One of my buddies is playing even doing emulation and stuff, and it's running that solid. So it's only a matter of time. I may put in for it later this year. I know that then you're kind of on the wait list or whatever, but
you can get on the wait list anytime, and it's a matter of which one do I want to put. I think it's also a sign that I'm really I think it's a sign also that I'm ready for not necessarily PC gaming, but just going down this Game Pass route and going down how cheap games can be. It's becoming increasingly hard when you see the likes of PlayStation, and we love our PlayStations around here. I love my PlayStation, but just how much they nickel and dime you over things where it's here's your $70 game, or you need your $10 upgrades and things, and I'm earning Game Pass for free. And so
I agree, and while it's quality, it hurts the wallet more. Speaking of $70 games, we can pop over to The Last of Us Part 1.
I'm mad about that too. So
that's why I wanted to jump to it. I will say all of the reviews that I've read say that it's beautiful, that it plays well, that it's a great game. That that they've.
It's a great game that came out 10 years ago.
Remastered. Yeah, we're on Skyrim levels of keep releasing the game. Yes, it looks good. I'm not going to pay $70 for it. I want to play this version of the game. I know that you don't replay games. I don't know if this comes on sale or on PlayStation Plus, if it ends up getting thrown on that. I want to replay it, but I'm not going to throw $70 at it, and because I already have it. I have the remaster, PS4 remaster. So this is better, but really, I mean, it's a 10-year-old game, and the characters, some of them look different. Some of them legitimately look different than they did in the other games. I don't know how to feel about that, but I'll probably play it at some point. Like
I
said, if
own
it
The
comes
Last of
on.
Us remastered physically and digitally. I was just checking.
Okay.
I was like, I know I own it digitally, and there
Yeah.
it is up there, lo
It's a
and
good
behold, on
game.
my shelf.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm very mad about this game. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. It's just the
$40.
fact it's literally I said I would have paid 30, or again, I would have popped my remastered game in there and I would have paid an upgrade fee.
Yeah.
They did that. That's the frustrating part. I know they didn't do a ground up remake of Uncharted 4 slash whatever the standalone
Thieves
DLC was. But it's the Legacy of Thieves collection.
Yeah.
But they allowed me to go in there. It's $10, and that's completely reasonable. I don't even know if I'm ever going to play Uncharted 4 again, but I never played that DLC, and I was like, I will pay $10 to do a remastered DLC when I get to it.
Yeah.
I would have paid $30 for this game, easy. I would have paid like a $30 upgrade, a ground up remake. I think that's respectable, but like $70 for a game that came out 10 years ago that you've put out. This will be the third time you're putting out. I get if you want to charge the PC folks full price. Stupid fair. That's fair. Like, it's coming out on a brand new system, but this is PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and now a PlayStation 5 version of this game that you are doing full price. It's this kind of stuff where I'm just like, you guys have some nerve. It's one of those few moments where like that's a legitimate thing to say. Like in this case, it's Naughty Dog, so it's like they can get away with it. But I will play it when it comes to PS Plus Extra. I refuse to give them money for this game because this is one of those vote with your wallet moments. I'm very upset about how they priced this game for people who already own the game so many times.
The majority of people who have a PlayStation, come on, how do you not own this game? Wasn't The Last of Us part of the collection? It may have not been, but the PlayStation collection.
No, they made God of War part of the collection.
That's right. I mean, I was just thinking about how many. Sorry,
they might have given it away for PS Plus. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure they did, but the collection on PlayStation Plus had so much in it that immediately makes me think of that when I think of it. Which I really wish that they would add more to their PlayStation collection, because I liked when they originally came out with it. It was very much like here's the the bread and butter of the previous gen. If you haven't played one of these games, pop that in. And they need to do another one. It's been 2 years now.
Well, it's not going to happen now that now that Extra exists. Extra is what they expect from you, and I have Extra for 3 years, and we'll see what the service is like in 3 years, and we'll see if I keep getting Game Pass for free in 3 years. But like, if it wasn't for like God of War is going to come out, Wolverine, Spider-Man 2. But after that, dude, like I don't know about you, man. I'm having a really hard time like wanting to buy games, and even though on the sheet, Patrick can read on the sheet, I was like, I haven't bought a AAA game since Elden Ring and Strangers of Paradise. So I haven't bought, like, this is the longest time I've gone without buying a $60+ game in years, dude. Like, it's been that's the kind of year we're having. But at the same time, it's also
Pass and Extra, and
it's pointed out to me. I'm just like, why am I buying all these games? And now I just wish Square would become a bigger part. Like, I know Outriders was on Game Pass, but I was like, imagine if Valkyrie Elysium, if that came out, because that's probably going to be the game I buy, but I'm still waiting on reviews because I'm like, I still own all this other stuff. Like, literally the only guaranteed game that I'm buying in the next couple months is Modern Warfare 2. And I'm still like halfway hoping that the Blizzard deal goes down by November so that we could get it in Game Pass and not pay for it. But like, I own so much stuff, and I'm giving these people so much monthly and yearly money that I just don't want to do. Like God of War, I don't know. You're probably a little bit more excited than I am, because I was one of those people that I'm like, God of War is good. I don't think it's like a 10.
I loved it. It's one of those. It's a game that
that transition.
Yeah. What's that?
So look at that transition. Look at that quality transition, folks. Just all of a sudden, God of War on my screen. Took one mention. Look at that.
Smooth.
That's how you do it, y'all.
I love the game. I thought you meant the transition in the game, but no, I've
No,
loved, absolutely loved the God of War games. This is a series that it's one of those like we talk about. If the wife likes it, I put it in the cart. You know, it's if she wants, if I know she's going to play it, she's in
yeah,
playing. Oh, what is it? Disney. It's the new Disney one that's on Xbox
it's
right
on Game
now.
Pass.
Yep, on
Game Pass, baby. Does she like it? Because I downloaded it thinking
she
Theodore might like it.
so she likes it. Yeah, Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah.
She just started playing it, so I don't have a really good take on it yet. I don't think it's something that would be easy enough for him to play, obviously, but it may be something that you play and he watches. From what it looks like, it didn't look like
So far, nothing's easy enough for him to play. Like, we played one game, and I can tell him to press the jump button. Like, I can say press A, and he'll press A, and he'll jump.
He'll get
so
there, yeah.
But it has Disney characters, so it's like a thing of like, if it's fun to walk around and interact with Disney characters, then that's why I downloaded it.
I mean, it seemed like it. I'll let you know. Like, it looked like it from. She just started playing it like when we shortly before we started the show. It looks adorable. I'm in for it. But she's playing that now. But this is one that I plan on playing with her as well, because it. And by playing with her, I mean she can play it. I'll sit there. She'll enjoy playing it. And when if it gets difficult, then I may help her out. But I've liked the games. She's liked the games. So I again like the environments. I just threw this in here because you got an additional God of War. Actually, I realized I didn't even put it on there. You didn't even know I had it queued.
That's what I'm saying.
They had some new area that they are showing off here in the Dwarven. I forgot. I didn't write down the name, but new God of War trailer. So I wanted to throw it in there.
Not watching it.
Yep.
As soon as I realized it was a new video, I was like, no, it's okay.
So I'll click away from that and talk about some more things you can be mad about. Overwatch 2 being released in October. So RIP Overwatch 1, because the Overwatch 1 servers will be shutting down. Obviously, you and I aren't. Yeah, I mean, for those who would get mad.
Okay.
I didn't. People are outraged about it, but this is what happens when you move to a games as a service style model. You no longer, if you bought the game, you no longer own a game. Overwatch is now a free to play game anyways, but this is how the model works in a games as a service bit. They can change, they will change, they need to evolve to stay relevant. So this
is what I wish would happen with WoW, to be honest with you, dude.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
All your skins, every ounce of money that you've ever put into Overwatch, as far as I know, is transferable into Overwatch 2. So like all the existing characters that are there, any skin, again, anything that you've put like money into those loot boxes and stuff like that carries over into the game. If WoW could just somehow, I know it would be really hard to do that, because if you want to start a game, you kind of have to bring people back to level 0. But like if there was a way where like if you started out at level 1 and as you start unlocking it, you can unlock all the different glamour stuff because your weapons are going to be irrelevant anyway. But if you could unlock all your costumes that you've spent the last 20 years on, like bring me WoW 2, that would be dope.
You've got mounts, they've got all the different pets and all stuff that they do. WoW 2 needs to happen, because they've had I think 2 large overhauls that they've done with what was it, Cataclysm, and there was one other one that basically changed a lot of the like these starting areas are different than they used to be. Like it shook it up, but it's still the same game. They tweaked the leveling, pacing, and that kind of thing, but it's still the same game. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is WoW needs to do this. We've also been playing a little bit of the Old Republic, the Star Wars Old Republic, and it's still basically the same game. It's not bad, but it's a 11-year-old game now. WoW is like 18 years old, 20 years old. It's time for them to do it. Overwatch 2, that's what I thought was going to happen. Some people were upset about it, but apparently Overwatch 2 is not going to have any paid loot box stuff. So
How are they making money then?
I don't know.
I guess you don't have to care when you're being bought by Microsoft how you're going to make money, but
yeah, I just heard recently that the loot boxes were. Let's see, there's a thing on here. No loot boxes. Keep the contents. I don't know. Apparently, they're trying to. Yeah. So, and there's multiple articles saying like Overwatch 2 is ditching the gaming industry's worst feature. So, having loot boxes scrapped, and I don't know if they're going to go more like. I honestly haven't looked into it because I just saw this.
I wonder if they go the Fortnite route then.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Throw some
battle
skins
passes
in there. Yeah, battle passes. Throw some skins in there. Let people do that, and then you can have your your unique costumes and unique skins. And emotes, and people will pay 30, 40, 50, 80 bucks, whatever.
They added a store too.
Okay.
So now instead of being subjected to the box, you can just say, hey, I want this skin, take my money please.
There you go.
Big fan. Good job, Overwatch. I might play it. I'm not going to give them any money, but I might download it and play it for simply that reason.
Yeah. That's how we vote for.
Once you're owned by Microsoft, I don't give you any money anymore. I'm sorry. Like the only I did buy Halo, and then that was like one of the biggest disappointments ever. So not doing that again. 343. I would give Obsidian my money. Like I would. Yeah. Like I will probably buy. No, I won't. But I will give Obsidian my money for DLCs and stuff. I was about to say I would buy Outer
Worlds.
No, Outer Worlds 2. I was gonna say I'd buy Outer Worlds 2, but no, I'll buy the DLC though. For that, but I love Obsidian that much. I will give Obsidian my money in some way or fashion. So good for them. Way to go. I'm a big fan.
Happy about
Not a big fan of you, Blizzard, but big fan of that. That's a good move.
Yeah. Maybe this will get them closer to the right direction. Because if you got the money, you don't have to worry about grubbing out of Diablo Immortal and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna throw that one out as a call it a pass, whatever. Go with a little feel good story here. At least I felt good about it. Canadian streamer. I only had to say that because I was trying to figure out where he's from because of the text. But a Canadian streamer has beaten every Nintendo 64 game. That's a feat. I know people who've collected.
There's some bad games on N64, bro.
And that's why I chose Quest 64 up here, renowned for being just complete trash. And he beat all of them, not just playing.
Oh, that game was terrible.
Yeah,
that game was so bad.
Yeah. I think that's 200.
Did he say Superman 64 for last? Because that should have been the last one.
What is his last one? I can't remember his last one offhand, but he did beat Superman 64. I swear, I don't think I beat it, but I think I got close. I'm pretty sure I got pretty close to beating that game. And Kotaku and others are saying, the first game. I don't know if he's the first, but they're saying first gamer to complete every Nintendo 64 game. I mean, probably the first one who streamed.
He did Super Mario 64. That's fair.
Okay, for the last.
He left Super Mario. Yeah, he left Super Mario 64 for the last one.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, I was looking through. I was trying to find his uploads, and I saw Penny Racers Rally Challenge. Yeah, there's some bad ones on here. Yoshi's Story is good, but yeah, good on him to beat every single one of them. And you can go on his YouTube and see every single one of them. He's got them listed as N64 challenge. Because I'm assuming that was So
that's probably some fun content.
Yeah. I've not watched it yet, but looks pretty good. Batman Beyond, everything.
I was recently thinking about getting a emulation machine that could run PlayStation 1 and 64 games, and so I went down the route of looking at Raspberry Pis, and then you start looking at those, and I want it to be handed to me. It's one of those things I like downloading and kind of messing with software, but I'm not really a hardware guy, so was going down that YouTube rabbit hole last night. I probably looked at 10, 15 different Android-based things going on. So it made me also wonder how how emulation's going on the Steam Deck and up to that era, because like everybody, like, it feels like everybody can do like SNES and back, right? But how's the PlayStation, how's the 64? Like, that's where things start to get a little more interesting.
So I asked my buddy who had the Steam Deck. That was when, after he got it, he said emulation's running really great. And I said, he's like, is there anything you want me to test for you? You know, because, you know, he knew I was interested in it. Yeah. And I said, this is going to sound odd, but WCW NWO Revenge, tell me how that runs, because that game has audio issues. That game has like all kinds of issues in emulation, and he said it ran perfectly. So apparently it's enough power to run it. My PC can run it. You have to tweak it a little bit. So apparently it's strong. It's powerful enough to run it in a little handheld. So it makes me really, 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 if I'm going to get it, I'm going to be using it for that reason. And playing N64 games, PlayStation games, being able to play any of that on, because the screen is big enough and has good enough resolution that I'm not gonna feel compromised in any way on that. So answer is, apparently it works really well. What also works really well is we got a PlayStation update. Where's my thing? PlayStation 5 update.
Start making some folders.
1440. I'm about to. I saw this and was like, ooh, because I have a lot of games loaded up on there, and usually I jump in and I sort through it, but it'd be really nice to be able to throw like all my Souls games like all together, because that's a lot of mine. All my Telltale games that are on there, put that all together. So I can have...
It does have some limitations that I've discovered.
Okay.
And I haven't figured out the rhyme or reason to them yet. So my version of folders, other than... I did the same thing on Switch. You know Switch has folders now too, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I made... On both my Switch, and then will be coming on my PlayStation, there's going to be a Final Fantasy folder and a Star Wars folder. It's just inevitable. Yeah. Just how I own that many Star Wars games, I own that many Final Fantasy games. But I was going through my collection, and the way that I like doing folders is making unplayed game folders. So like unplayed RPGs, unplayed action games, unplayed whatever. And I was looking for one in particular that I know is installed.
Okay.
And it's a disc game that I own. I don't own it digitally, so it's Valkyrie Chronicles 4. And I was looking to add that to my unplayed RPGs. And it's just not like it shows up as installed, but it doesn't show up in my collection.
Okay, interesting.
So like you can't add games to your game list from your installed section. You have to go over to your collection and install it from there. And for some reason, it just isn't showing up in my collection, even though it's installed. I'm like, do I have to launch the game so that it acknowledges that I own it? I didn't test that yet because it's physical, and so I didn't want to come in here and grab the disc and do it. The other limitation with it is that if you're going to create a list, and you want to create the list before you start adding games, it wants you to select games, and it just gives you everything in your collection. So I have 500 things in my collection, and it puts it in alphabetical order, and there's no sorting. While you're trying to add games to the collection, you can sort your collection outside of it. And so trick is, don't make your list beforehand. Just find the first game that you want in your collection, whatever it is. I picked Tomb Raider because I played the first one. I've never played the second or the third one. I own them both.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, action games. So I found the first one, hit options on that, add it to game list, create a new list. And then from there, just like once you're now going through your collection, now that list exists. So don't try and create your list beforehand. Is my tip, is just create a list from picking a game to it, because in your collection you can use filters, which, by the way, the filters are also lacking. There's no first person shooter filter. There's a shooter filter, but not an FPS filter. I'm like, there's a very big difference between playing of Call of Duty and playing, I'm going to go way left field, Galaga, for example. But those are both shooters because they involve shooting things.
Yep.
and like it was just very annoying. Where I was like, I wanted to make a FPS specific folder, and Shooter pulled up Returnal. I consider Returnal kind of an action game.
It's an action, yeah.
And
Third person.
It's just for me. I want an FPS folder and I want an action folder. It's stupid. It's a dumb thing to care about, but that's not a genre that you can filter by. I wanted, like, I picked RPG and it was picking just some stupid stuff. It called Telltale Walking Dead an RPG, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry, but it's not.
I mean, if we have to be the actually like group here, like, you know, we love Zelda. Zelda's not an RPG. I mean,
Zelda is not an RPG.
Yeah, and we can say that as Zelda lovers.
There are no Zelda RPGs.
It's a wonderful game. It's a wonderful adventure game. It's not.
I was hoping that we would get Zelda Rabbids, and I would call that a tactical RPG if it did come out, but it is not.
It's not. 1440 aspect of it. I'll definitely be checking out the folders. The 1440.
Can your TV do 1440?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, it can do 1440.
Mine's either 1080 or 4K.
Yeah, mine can do 1440, but I don't. I mean, I don't really see a reason. I mean, unless the game needs it. And, you know, that's where if the game, if I can give it a performance mode, and I actually come to think of it, there are performance mode games that were 1080. So if now we can get a 1440 version of that, that's good. Because I played, it Ratchet? Ratchet played 1080 60, if I'm not mistaken, right? The performance mode Ratchet. So if that can get to 1440, giving that option is great. So anybody who has a TV who can do it, or people who really enjoy their monitors and have a 1440 monitor, which is where you'll see 1440 more than often. But it's a great.
I just like that. I like the options. I like if it gives more options in there. There's more TVs coming out with the ability to do so now, and then now more people are hooking their stuff up to monitors. I bought it for my work computer. It's not 1440 or 4K, but I bought it was a gaming monitor, and it's got a 120 refresh rate, and it's got UHD 1080.
Very nice. Okay.
I know. Or no, sorry, not UHD. HDR. That's what I meant. Yeah. It is HDR 1080 though, but I'm like, dude, let's go. So I definitely already ran my PS4 Pro up to it just in case, you know, I'm ever in here. So
how big is the TV?
My old it's 24.
Oh, I mean, dude. Okay, this is what you know this, but at 24 inches, 1080 versus 4K. I'm sorry, you can't
even buy it.
Your 1080's fine for that small of a monitor. That's going to be a really decent monitor to play some games on when you end up getting a Steam Deck and you get the dock that comes with it. Then you'd be able to put that in there, play on. That's going to be a really decent monitor for that.
Is it Acer? It was only 150. I was pretty surprised. Like, I'm pretty happy with it. It's got 2 HDMI ports. It even has speakers on it. You know, they're crappy speakers, but it's still speakers. Like, it's something where sound play. Like, it was on sale during the Best Buy Labor Day thing, and I wanted. The other reason that I got it, it rotates.
Ooh,
so I have actually. Oh no! So I got
there we go.
I got like the setup.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So like I got landscape, portrait action going on.
I got.
So I throw my Slack chat over on it. I throw my calendar on it.
There's my portrait.
Yeah, dude. It's so nice. Like, and I was looking at monitors, dude, for hours, looking for a decent price to the ability to just rotate like naturally, like on a stand. Everything you can rotate if you're willing to mount it onto a wall.
That's how mine's mounted. Mine's the mount is rotated 90 degrees and then mounted onto the but the ability to mount that's cool. I may look at one of those around Christmas, depending on what happens, because I don't know. I've got my 4K monitor here. I've got a 1080 here, but I I'd like the options, the higher refresh rate. This is 4K, but it's only 60. So being able to have a 120 would be really killer at that point.
Yeah. Toys, man. It's the new since we're talking nerd things, because that's what we do here in the TheLanCave. There was a new iPhone reveal today, and no, won't express too many opinions about that given whom I work for. But the funny part was giving my wife options. She has an iPhone 11. We just revealed the iPhone 14 today, and I was like, hey, based on your return that you get for the phone and so on, like the Pro is really affordable.
Okay. Yeah.
And, so that's like the second best model in terms of like the size. It's like the normal size, so not the big one. I was like, the Pro is very affordable for us. You have a 3-year-old phone at this point. Do you want it? I sent her the comparison thing, and she's like, I'm fine with the 14. The 14 is sufficient. And I was like, I don't even know how, maybe that's why we're not broke, is because there's me and Patrick style people where it's like, I need my toys, bro. Like, I try and be reasonable, but I need the toys.
She
and then there's my wife where it's like,
quick, efficiently, and she doesn't.
Literally, the only reason that she wants a new phone is because her battery's like starting to die. I was like, well, we can replace your battery, and she's like, but you already offered to get me a new phone. And I was like, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, and 11 to 14. I mean, she waited a bit.
It's a good jump. Yeah.
That's a good jump. Yeah, Whitney. And I know that people get paranoid about or not paranoid, but like think it's a conspiracy about like, oh, my old phone's slowing down. I talked to somebody who was talking about that, and I'm like, your phone's 6 years old. The person I was talking to, their phone is 6 years old, and we use these constantly. And they had, I think, 2 battery replacements in that time. I'm like, you are doing pretty good if your phone's 6 years old and you're still rocking it. I know they don't want to buy a new phone, but these things are not.
This isn't like the age of like the Ford Model T or something, where it's like made of steel and you treat it right, and it's gonna like these are small, tiny little part. We're talking about like nanometer type things. Yeah, like the smallest of the small. Yeah, doing. Extremely powerful processes, the more powerful processes than the computers of your father and grandfather's youth. People don't really understand that the wheels start to fall off. There's also things about, like, in terms of slowing down, like there's parts where as they push out new software, they're trying to keep your phone running, basically. So it's basically like we could either obsolete your phone, or you can start. And I say we in general, like being like Android. This is the same for Android, iOS, everything. Yeah. Like you could either go completely obsolete, where you just don't get software updates anymore, or you could get the ability to still download apps. You can get the ability to download all that good stuff and push forward. So the funniest part for me was just like that the 14 is sufficient, and it's like, I'm offering to buy you the best phone.
Yeah. What's the difference between the Pro and the better camera, or
banging camera? It's like a 12 megapixel camera, which is the camera. I have the 13 mini, and the camera's sweet. It's awesome. Yeah. Or 48 megapixel camera, where you can do like just like you want to take the most perfect pictures of our child and edit them out to hell, you can. But it was more just the fact that I was like, I can get you the Pro based on this. We can afford it because of the trade-in value of your phone, and it's just one of those things where I'm like, oh, and she's like, this is sufficient. I'm like, what? I'm like, if you try to tell me, like, get the mediocre, no, it's not mediocre, but get the medium level phone. Oh, and I'm like,
I don't know.
My PS4 Pro is sufficient, but my PS5
it does the job. I did do that. Well, I did do that with my TV, but that's because like the next level up, I couldn't justify spending another $800, I think, for the
Oh,
next level
yeah.
up TV
No.
because it's a little bit brighter. Really
This is the difference of $100.
Yeah.
Like based
Yeah,
on again all that stuff. I was like, $100.
worth $100.
Like,
That's worth $100.
Yeah.
$100 for
because
your
she's
TV
going to hold
be a
on to it
little
for 3 or
brighter.
4 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you know,
For your TV to be to get your. That was one of the funny things during the thing is they kept talking about the nits. So the brightness factor, they were talking about the nits. So how many more nits would you get for that $800?
Oh, I'd have to look. It's not that many. It's enough that people are basically like, this one, it's OLED, right? OLED's not as bright. So they're like, it's this OLED, or you get this one or this one that's brighter. And I was thinking, so everyone who's complaining about it not being bright enough gets that extra 200 nits or whatever it is. It's brighter. Mine's fine.
That's how you sell it to your spouse, though. It's like, come on, babies, we get 200 nits.
It's gonna be you know how sometimes the scenes are really dark. Yeah, you won't have that problem here.
I would kill for that's where the next time again. Who knows when that's going to be? The TCL it has to die. Yeah. I have two 1080 TVs that are perfectly fine in this house that I literally I don't know if you remember this. I bought a 4K TV for God of War. Like,
I remember, yeah.
That was my intro into 4K, so I can't go back, but I also can't
5 years ago
be like 2017, and so this TV has to die. And there's been moments.
Yeah,
it's been slowing down a little bit. There's been some parts where like it was kicking us out of apps, and I do have to go through all the troubleshooting. I obviously do. Like we've worked around it, but the second that thing stops playing my consoles,
you're gonna have to.
We get an expensive. We get an OLED, baby. I don't care if it's my money or not. After the SWOLED, dude, the SWOLED is the nicest screen I've ever had in my life. Like, I wish that there was some hardware underneath that SWOLED. I wish that it could truly like play some AAA games at the glory that they should be seen, because that little screen is just so gorgeous.
It's so good. It's so good.
I want an OLED TV so bad.
Dude, I love my OLED TV, and I will say, because I was talking about those extra nits, and I was joking about like, ooh, you know, honey, you didn't have to worry about
the blackest blacks.
Mine is a very good TV. This is the one I told you was on sale. Like that, I was amazed it was on sale for like $800 off. It's great. You don't need that. It's the A80J versus the A90J. It's fine. Do
you have an 80-inch TV?
No. 80's the no. It's a 70. It's a 70-inch TV.
It's just
sorry.
I have a 60, but you know.
65. No, sorry, 65. Crap, I'm trying to remember now. I believe 65. Now that I'm saying it's not 80. 65
I have a 60, so.
It's 65 because I've had the 65 inch for a while. Whitney saw the 70 or 72 inch or whatever, and she was like, "I want it, but it's just too much. It's too much." So even with mine, where like I said, you have that one that's got some extra nits, it's fine if you're watching those. As long as you're watching those movies with in the evening, it's fine. It's if you're watching them in the bright of day and you're trying to watch the Game of Thrones, maybe it won't be quite as clear. But if you're watching it in movie viewing kind of mode, then you're fine with it. Just as long as you do a basic calibration. I'll help. The
second that TV dies, I'm going to be shopping. I still have to keep it reasonable. I can't be like going out and blowing like 2K on a TV or anything like that. But I've done my mid-range. I think TCL is a great brand for what it does. If you you have to keep it out of the sun, like in terms of like if you have open windows on it and stuff, like anything nighttime is just not happening. But it's been a great TV, but dude,
this one's got anti-glare. This one has anti-glare on the screen.
I'm talking about that, and it was literally like looking at the SWOLED where I was just like, like imagine 60 inches of switch screen, and I was just like wanting to cry. So
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It has to die though, because that's the only way that I can really sell it. Where it's going to be one of those things where it comes out of my account
Yeah.
no matter what. The second that I get over unreasonable price, she's gonna be like, "Well, you're paying for it. It's fine." Like that's what happened. I'm like, I spent this, like, your account or our account? I was like,
Yeah.
my account. She's like,
Yeah.
okay.
That's how you do it. Whitney's doing that right now. She bought a new tail. For those of you who don't know, my wife is a mermaid. She bought a new tail like a couple weeks ago, and it came out of her account. I was like, that's fine, because her account has like all of her mermaid money goes into the account, and we're putting her bonuses into the
mer
account.
money.
Yep, it's her mer money, and I was like, that's fine. I didn't realize how much was in there, and she was like, oh, I got this much. I'm like, oh, well then, I'm not going to nitpick her anyways, but I didn't realize that she's balling.
It's one of those things where she doesn't know, and there's been very few times where she like actually asks, and it's been that way our entire marriage. Is that she also has her own separate account, and the only time we really ever notice that is like when we're doing taxes. It's like, oh, you got that much? Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah. But aside from that, it was whenever I dropped the consoles, I was like, so I bought an Xbox. She's like, I thought you were getting a PS5. And I was like, oh, I bought that too. Yep. And she's like, how much was that? I was like, it was $7. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay, whose account was that? I was like, who's that? My account? It's like, all right. Yeah. And she left. It's one of those like just random moments, or anytime I buy the stupid stuff that is here where I'm like, so I'm modding a Game Boy Advance, and I bought this thing off eBay so that I can mod my Game Boy Advance. It's like, your account? Yeah. Like, yeah. Okay. Then,
that means
but it's that little subtle check. She's like, are you doing anything stupid? Yep. No, not doing anything stupid. Okay. And I'm like, well, I am doing something stupid, but it's with my stupid money. It's with my stupid money. It's the stupid. I could nickname the account stupid money.
That's what helped her. And I need to set up, because we haven't been doing it automatically. I'm going to set up automatic, so that way, she has her, whatever you want to spend out of it, you spend whatever you want, because it doesn't affect our budget at that point. And that's
the best part is being able to go to your employer. Yeah. If you can do it at the employer level, I have my paycheck literally splits between 3 different accounts. So like the majority of the money goes into the joint account. I have the secondary investment account that just invests money for me, and then I have just like the checking account that I've had since college. Okay. Like that old what has become the stupid money account is like my Chase account that I've had since I was 18 years old. It's just terrible savings account, interest and everything, but it holds what it holds.
I'm gonna set mine.
And this is where you can get to the old man style thing. But you couples out there, you nerds, you get yourself a little nerd account. It's great to separate, in my opinion. Obviously, Duo works for you, but I'm a big proponent of having accounts that you can put money into and not care if you spend the money out of, because that's what it's there for. It is there for indulgence.
Yes. If you both know that you are taking, in my opinion, again, do your own thing, as long as you're both getting the same share. It's like, okay, you're getting this, we need to put money into, make sure that we have our budget together, right? Whatever that extra money is. And then you don't have to me, it takes out the concern of having to justify it to your partner that you're buying something. It's just like, I want something and I don't have to worry about justifying it. It's there, and they're not going to be mad because they have their own money. So if they're mad at you at that point, it's completely unreasonable. So that's our opinion on that. You want to talk about this Jim Ryan thing real quick before we close out? Or what do you think? Yeah. So
that's fine.
I thought this was funny. I kind of threw it in there kind of last minute, but Jim Ryan allegedly, in a conversation that he thought was not off the record,
confidential.
But he thought it was confidential, if you will. He referred to the Call of Duty offer for PlayStation as inadequate, basically saying like that Call of Duty has been so. He said after almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take into account the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle. So,
it's the stupidest thing in the world.
This was apparently supposed to be in some part of some business meeting or something. I didn't see what. I'm going to skim to.
Is this a part of the Brazilian one, or is this with another one? Because basically, what's been happening, folks, is that Microsoft is acquiring Blizzard, Activision, and you can't. It's not just a one country deal. You literally have to get it approved by like every country. Otherwise, like you're not going to be able to sell there anymore.
Yes.
Obviously, the United States being one of the biggest ones, but they've had to go to the likes of like Brazil, the European Union, like things like that. And so, like, it kind of seems like Sony's trying to like throw little things in there where it's like you can't buy Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, it has to do with the CMA is a big part of it, because that's the European bit. They've been saying that it could significantly weaken Microsoft's rival. So I think some of it has to do with that. Apparently, Jim Ryan said that he thought that this was during what he assumed to be essentially like more of a business meeting, not that he was talking to straight up to journalists and giving them a soundbite. So he was kind of miffed about not about being taken on the record. So Phil Spencer obviously not happy, but
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan not happy about Phil Spencer. Happy. Phil Spencer's happy about this. He just in one way or another, Phil's going to win out. And it's just a matter of how much is he going to win on this. I think what we're going to see is those differences per region. We might see some differences in there. I've said for quite a while that they can that they don't have to lessen what they're giving the PlayStation side. They can slightly sweeten the Xbox side of it, like they did on PlayStation. It used to be you'd have exclusive maps or timed exclusivity. PlayStation had that for years on their side. So having that on Xbox, or even saying, here's all the maps, but these 10 maps or 5 maps or whatever it is, they're only on Xbox. And if you're not on you're on Xbox or PC, that's where they are. That would be enough. It's subtle. Yeah.
Here's the thing is that PlayStation's been doing that to Xbox for years. They had this long-running deal. They had all the ad deals. Anytime you saw a Call of Duty commercial play on TV, it ended with like PlayStation or had a PlayStation watermark on it, even though it was available on Xbox and PC also. But they established themselves as like, this is the place to play Call of Duty. And it was. It was the primary. It was even the competition scene for Call of Duty. Like, how crazy is that? Like, in terms of first-person shooters, for those of you who don't know, most competition scenes for FPS is on computer. It's on PC, and that's just how it is. That's because of lots of reasons, but the fact that mouse and keyboard and so on. But with Call of Duty, that was one of the exceptions, is that mainly because of cheaters and stuff, but the console space for Call of Duty was where competition is. Yeah. And Phil said, or Jim is saying that Phil said that they've committed to putting Call of Duty for 3 more years on PlayStation once the acquisition goes through. Mm-hmm. And there's been other times where they've said that they expect to do it in perpetuity. Like, they're, and this is the nature of the business, bro. Like, he's absolutely right. Call of Duty's huge. Like, and Call of Duty has been very synonymous with PlayStation for the last generation. It's huge, but in my opinion, dude, like, make an FPS.
Yeah.
Just make some game. You bought Bungie, dude.
PlayStation can do this. Yeah, I agree. Right now, from a name recognition standpoint, I agree. Call of Duty really doesn't have a rival because Battlefield comes out. Okay,
it sucks.
But it's not. It's not the same.
The last Battlefield was broken.
Yeah. So Call of Duty has
bring back SOCOM. Problem solved.
Yeah. There are so many things they could be doing this. They could be enhancing it. They bought enough studios that they can do it, and just continue the negotiations with to try to keep Call of Duty in one way, shape, or form on your console. But it's only.
I don't see why you don't do it, though. I don't see why you don't keep it on PlayStation. Like, I don't. In terms of Xbox, like, you get to put it on Game Pass, but after that, like, you literally can charge $70. Call of Duty is one of the few third parties that charges $70 for their game in this new gen, like, and people will buy it. You want them to come to Game Pass, yeah, but if they'll give you $70, why not?
Why not? And well, Phil has talked about that. He doesn't. It's not. It's more about playing the game. It's not about where you're playing it. He's trying to sell the whole Game Pass aspect of you can stream it, you can do whatever. We just want you to
It sold
play.
me.
Yeah, and it worked. It's good. Same thing with this. The future is, fortunately, unfortunately, the future is that it's going to be a little bit more flexible in regards to where you're playing. I really want it to be to the point where I could have the option of a streaming stick, even though I've had such terrible Wi-Fi issues when traveling. If I can have a streaming stick at my house, especially if I can have an Ethernet hooked up to it, that's what I want. It would make it so much easier if I can have everything. If everything is available to be streamed, anything that I buy, anything that's on Game Pass, if I can stream any of it, I'm just going to play. I'm going to play it on that. It's going to make so many people happy that they don't have to worry about where they're putting their console, and making the entertainment center look nice and clean. People will be very happy about that. A lot of people will be. Whitney will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hope you guys
Console
like this.
wars.
Yeah, hope you guys like the console wars then, and the continuation of console wars. Let us know what you think about that in the comments. Do you think Call of Duty is big enough to affect PlayStation sales that much? Do you think Xbox is going to finally start outselling PlayStation in the next couple of years? Because I think that's going to happen. And do you think that streaming stick is going to come out soon? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you next time.